If you've never paid taxes before, it will happen to you one day. You may have heard Benjamin Franklin's famous quote, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." He meant that we will always die and pay taxes. How does classical liberalism view taxes? Hi, I'm Adam, and we're going to talk about taxes today. Honestly, I don't know anyone who would like to pay taxes. Taxes are a relatively well-known political and economic issue. What we are seeing is that the public sector provides a lot of services from the collected taxes. However, just a few people see the other side of the matter, which is pointed out by classical liberals. Generally speaking, classical liberals support tax cuts and tax simplification. At the same time, however, they are calling for a reduction in state intervention in the economy. The logic is that it's the productivity of the people that make us richer, not the existence of the state. If the state wants to tax, it should prove that it's for the benefit of the people. It should prove that the tax collected and used for public services help increase people's productivity while preserving their freedom and protecting their property. Individuals and companies should be able to keep as much of the money they earn as possible. Public spending is always at the expense of private spending. Higher taxes deprive companies of the money needed to maintain and expand production and employ people, or reduce incentives to work in making savings. On the other hand, lower taxes can be a strong incentive for further development of the economy, attracting foreign investors, and there will be less tax evasion. Ultimately, the Treasury also benefits from lower taxes, since it collects more tax revenue from more tax entities who are attracted by lower rates. Classical liberals reject the progressive tax advocated by its proponents by saying that the rich are simply obliged to pay more. After all, the rich pay more in absolute terms, even at the same tax rate, as 10% of 100,000 euros is 10 times more than 10% of 10,000 euros. Classical liberals also reject inheritance tax, also known as death tax, gift tax, and dividend tax as unfair. These tax assets have already been taxed once. They're also bothered by the types of taxes where the revenue is almost equal to or even lower than the cost of collecting them. Classical liberals support international tax competition, which pushes tax rates down and forces states to simplify tax systems. They are convinced that high taxes cause entrepreneurs to leave the country, whereas low taxes support higher productivity and increase the living standard of all of us. As far as the subject of so-called tax havens goes, all that can be said is that they owe their existence to so-called tax hells, countries with an extremely high tax burden. Classical liberals reject tax harmonization within the EU because it would sooner or later result in high taxes for all. That's all on this subject. Next time? Well, we'll see what I prepare for you next, but it will definitely be something interesting. See you again. Bye.